If they don't get rid of Nagy and completely overhaul this offensive scheme, I don't know that any of it matters. It's the same effing every game.
He should be having surgery within the next 24, 48 hours from the time you see this. If not, like, immediately today at some point.
We're looking at a recovery here of somewhere around the 9-month mark. That's kind of the average that I'm seeing for this type of injury.
I mean, look, Mahomes heals faster than most people. He's not a mere mortal. This dude is a football legend. He's a god amongst men on the football field. That's Patrick Mahomes. He's always recovered a slight bit quicker than everyone thought. I've heard that he may be jogging around March to April if they can get this done within the next week.
But at what point do we kind of take a step back and realize that the entire thing can't possibly be just Matt Nagy? There's a lot more broken than just the offensive coordinator. The entire scheme's bad. The head coach is in charge of that scheme. The head coach is his playbook. Like, there's a lot more going on here than just Nagy. So I'm in favor of doing this. But what do we have to do as far as the offense and overhaul, and who do we get rid of, and what do we do to get this scheme to change, or is it even possible?
You're listening to All Chiefed Up, the podcast.
Chiefs Kingdom, ACU crew, welcome back to All Chiefed Up. We're back with another podcast for that ass. It is Tuesday, December 16th. Mike, it's been a grim 36 hours in Chiefs Kingdom. Pat Mahomes took that injury at the end of the Chargers game. No one wanted to see it. One of the worst things we've ever witnessed with our own eyes on this planet. But now it's a reality, and we're dealing with it. So what's the update on Pat? What has happened, and what's going on so far?
Right. So it was announced yesterday. Andy said he was going to see a second doctor for a second opinion down in Dallas. No surprise there. Nothing big. I think they're going to have surgery within 48 hours. They did come out today and say that it was just the ACL. Maybe the second opinion showed something that the first one missed. I don't know. Like, it's not really been set in stone at the time of this recording. So he should be having surgery within the next 24, 48 hours from the time you see this. If not, like, immediately today at some point. I think you got to do it. The sooner the better. That's the most vital time to get it is within the first 48, 72 hours. They've got to just knock it out and get it going, get the rehab process started, and that's the best thing for everybody at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, nothing really out of the ordinary right now as far as injuries go. Normally, you even saw this with Josh Simmons when he broke his wrist, but they'll go have a second opinion shortly after the first one, right? And then they'll proceed from there. So Pat Mahomes, man, we're looking at a recovery here of somewhere around the 9-month mark. That's kind of the average that I'm seeing for this type of injury. Obviously, with Pat Mahomes' work ethic, the team he has around him as far as Bobby Stroop, and then our staff with the Kansas City Chiefs, and just good doctors everywhere. The guy he's going to get a second opinion from in Dallas is actually the guy that repaired Rashee Rice's ACL and a flurry of other NFL players recently. So really good doctor. Hopefully they can get that all straight. But we're thinking that maybe that Mahomes can get himself back and ready to go by next season. A lot of people are thinking he's going to miss a massive chunk of next season. And I mean, barring any kind of news coming up out of nowhere where there's more ligament damage than the ACL, I'm kind of feeling like Mahomes could be slinging the ball around somewhere in May, and he could probably start getting on that knee a little bit and jogging around in June, July, and be there August for training camp and actually start week 1 of 2026.
I mean, look, Mahomes heals faster than most people. He's not a mere mortal. This dude is a football legend. He's a god amongst men on the football field. That's Patrick Mahomes. He's always recovered a slight bit quicker than everyone thought in regards to the first knee injury on the right side where he dislocated that kneecap. He's got those double jointed knees or whatever it is that old Buck and Bob over there like to talk about. There's so much with Patrick Mahomes, just the fact that he's got, good trainers, everybody around him. This dude is got tons of support, be it from Adidas, people back at Texas Tech, the entire state of Texas, like this dude, he's just got all kinds of support, family, friends, you name it. He's a smart kid. He's going to do what he has to do to get back, and I think he'll get back quick. I've heard that he may be jogging around March to April if they can get this done within the next week, get the surgery and get it going, and there's not much other ligament damage. So look, if he can start seriously being able to jog, getting back and doing that in March or April, By the time the draft's here, he's probably going to be able to start throwing the football around. I would say when he does his Mahomes camp, when he brings all of his receivers in, probably in June, I think, May, June. I don't remember when he does all that. But it seems like that's going to be a thing. He should be able to do that. I don't see him doing like all these crazy like cuts and things like that. You don't have to do that to necessarily go out and throw the ball around and develop a little bit of chemistry. So I think he's going to be fine to go by the time we get to OTAs, mandatory OTAs at the end of July, August. I think he'll be ready for week 1. Now, look, I could be wrong, but I think he'll be ready for week 1. I do not see him missing an entire season.
I don't either. And that kind of leads us into how is the rest of this season going to look? Before we jump ahead to any of the offseason stuff, because, Mike, we've been talking ad nauseum in the last 36 hours about who's going to get fired on the offensive side of the ball as far as coaching goes and what kind of moves they need to make and what they need to do here and there and everywhere. But before we even get that far, we have a few more games to play this season. Chris Jones just came out and said that, believe it or not, there's some importance left in these games for the Chiefs. And I imagine that's more for the psyche of the team, more for, I don't know what. Is it just to not go out as a losing team this year? Do they at least want to hit that 500 mark? Like, are they going to see some guys that we haven't got to see yet, like the younger guys like Jalen Royals and different guys like that? I mean, there is some value left to the season. But I think for all intents and purposes, Chiefs Kingdom is done this season.
Yeah, well, there's nobody going to support. You're going to have $10 tickets. That's a positive. We ain't seen that in a while, I guess. So if you want to go to Arrowhead, now's your chance. Go watch Gardner Minshew for a few weeks. Look, here's the thing. These games are important because you got to figure out who wants to be there and who wants to pack it up. You still got guys playing for incentives. Guys are playing for contracts. Guys are playing for contract extensions. Maybe they're just playing because they want to put some good plays on tape for other teams during free agency. So look, Drew Tranquil, you're going to have guys like Jawan Taylor. You've got all these dudes that may just get the axe from the Chiefs this year because we just can't afford it. Mike Dan is another one that comes to mind. Charles Omenihu's probably not going to be back next year. You got plenty of guys that need to go out there, put some good film out for other teams. So what did the Chiefs need to do? We need to start looking at what we have. Let's take this time to analyze how this offense looks without Patrick Mahomes. I think you're going to see a lot of bad football, and maybe Nagy and Andy Reid and even the higher-ups, go all the way up to Clark Hunt. You're going to see a lot of things that you're going to be like, my God, this looks horrible, and Patrick kind of put a Band-Aid on that for years. And I think that's what you're going to see, and I think you're going to see the supporting cast around him as well. And I think that's important too, because with Mahomes out and not saving the day every week, everybody kind of writes that off. You know, every week when something goes bad, what's okay, Patrick Mahomes, we won, blah, blah, blah. That's how we got through the entire last season. And so everybody wants to do the patchwork. Nobody wants to fix the problem. And I think here you're going to be able to try to fix some problems. Yeah. You should be able to see them a little bit more without Mahomes covering it.
Absolutely. So let's try this one on for size, Mike. I have a theory I'd like to throw out there. Going forward, the rest of the season and then the playoffs still have to take place and everything like that. I think that it's kind of been obvious this year, and you talked about this before the season started, the NFL might start giving in to that mob mentality of the Chiefs get all the calls and the league's been rigging it for the Chiefs and all this stuff. And they kind of made it hard on the Chiefs this season. With the suspension of Rashee Rice that they tried to get to 8 games. With the schedule, I think we had the second or third hardest schedule in all of football this season. And then amongst other things, we saw egregious call after egregious call. And of course, no one cares because it's the Chiefs. And you as a Chiefs fan have no right to say anything about a referee, of course, right? But now the mob crowd has got what they've wanted. They're so happy. They're so happy. They are gloating. They're doing their victory laps. They're acting like the last decade of football didn't exist, right? But I'm going to say this. This is my theory. I think the NFL is going to highly regret, even if they leaned into that even a little bit to appease the crowd, I think they're going to regret it. And here's why. The average person that doesn't like the Chiefs, that thinks all this stuff, they're just like, man, ratings are going to skyrocket without the Chiefs in the playoffs. And everybody's happy and everybody's pumped. I'm going to tell you this right now. I think it's going to be the exact opposite. I think that you're going to see ratings plummet. I think that you don't have your team that you love to hate watch. They're not there. There's a lot of teams that aren't very good that are going to be in the playoffs this season. The AFC is weak. They are weak, brother. It's not going to be fun football to watch. And I think they're really going to suffer there. And I mean, even Rich Eisen came out and said, quote, "You're going to miss the Chiefs in the playoffs. This league is more fun when the Chiefs are good. I can't wait to see how they're going to come back and make it happen again." So that's the big thing, man. I really think that the league's suffering along with Chiefs fans after this dreadful season, dude.
Well, look, the Chiefs are a staple. Patrick Mahomes is must-see football. Travis Kelce, whether you like him or not, whether you like Taylor Swift or not, it was big. It was big for the NFL. It was this giant thing. Having another dynasty after people didn't think Tom Brady and New England could be replicated. And I think that's what did it so quickly. So quickly, another team come in and took that mantle, right?
Yep.
And I think that's what caused it. And, of course, they were already 20 years deep into a Patriots one. They didn't want to see another team come in and do it again. So I think they got fearful. They jumped on the refs cheat, this and that. Look, the Patriots had 2-3 cheating scandals that they got caught downright, just caught.
Legitimate ones.
Legitimately caught. Okay, so they were involved in that, and that has just completely disappeared. Now they are the legit, dynasty, and the Chiefs are Mickey Mouse dynasty. Don't mean anything.
Right.
It's all bogus. When it comes to the theory of the league trying to hamper the Chiefs this year, I floated that earlier, and I thought it could be true because I felt like the NFL thought it was a bad image and a bad look. And if they just send out those horrible officials, and for all this time, there's no doubt that maybe the Chiefs received some good calls, but there were plenty of times we got some bad calls. There's calls that went our way that should have went our way. The Bradbury hold in the Super Bowl. I'm sorry, but that was a hold. The kid even admitted to it after the game and said, I held Juju.
Right.
But they will still use that as you get all the calls. So they didn't care. And I'm going to tell you right now, without the Chiefs in the playoffs, I don't care who it is, whoever wins the Super Bowl and every game throughout, not many people's going to be watching it, just their fans. I don't think the average everyday NFL fan is going to tune in to watch the Seattle Seahawks play somebody. Like you're going to be a hardcore Seattle fan or you're going to be the state of Washington is going to tune in, right? They don't have the draw that Mahomes, Kelce, they got all the young kids. They've got everything. They've got America behind them. So, yeah, you are going to lose ratings. But I just don't – it doesn't matter who wins or who loses, Steve. At the end of the day, people are just it's all sour grapes. If your team don't win, it's automatically the other team cheats. The ref cheats. People have no accountability. That's the way we raise our children these days. They're all just a bunch of everybody gets a trophy. Everybody cheats. If I can't have it, nobody can have it. Cry, whine. That's what it is. So it's not going to stop with the Chiefs. Let Josh Allen win a Super Bowl this year, and you're going to have everybody say Josh Allen gets all the calls. So and maybe he does.
Josh Allen's not going to win a Super Bowl. I feel like it's all set up for him to, but I feel like he's going to fumble it again, like he always does.
Well, I'm not talking about who wins. I'm just saying whoever wins.
I know what you're saying.
They will come out and they will say every game. Look,
yeah, I mean, if Matt
game,
Stafford were to win another one, they're going to be like, "Oh, he's got 2 now. It's because the refs cheat for him."
Well, it's just every single game in the playoffs. You will see nothing but on X content farmers that just want to engage and get everything. They're going to come on and every call, the refs cheat. Look at this. They cheated for this. They cheated for that. They're not cheating. They just suck at what they do. And the problem is when you don't hold them accountable, even when they suck and it goes against the Chiefs, you should be saying, hey, the Chiefs got screwed a little bit. We got to fix this. But they would rather, well, the Chiefs are not allowed to talk about the refs. Let's hope they all get screwed. Okay, well, cool. You're going to keep having bad football because you keep having bad refs.
Yeah. For sure. So here's the thing, man. So this is what all the fans are going straight to. Like I said, for all intents and purposes, this season is done for Chiefs fans. Like, yeah, the Chiefs might be playing for something these last 3 games, whether it's personal or they're just trying to see some of the young talent, whatever it is, they're playing for something. But I think the fans, they're done. They're done this year. And like I said earlier today on a live stream, Mike, I thought that maybe this year was like that big piece of humble pie that the Chiefs organization needed from the top all the way down to the bottom. Even the fans, right? And that's maybe the only silver lining you can get from all of this. And I think the other silver lining that people are looking for, and you talked about it before we went on this podcast, it's fire Matt Nagy. That's the new thing. That's the new thing that's going to get everybody horned up. It's going to get them bricked up in their pants, and they're going to click on your stuff, and they're going to like it, and they're going to love it, and they're going to talk about it, right? And sure enough, as I'm scrolling here, I have a quote from Matt Verderam, and here's what it says. If they don't get rid of Nagy and completely overhaul this offensive scheme, I don't know that any of it matters. It's the same effing shit every game. And that's what he talked about the Chiefs getting playmakers or moving forward with Patrick coming back and everything like that. And, there is some truth to his quote. But at what point, do we kind of take a step back and realize that the entire thing can't possibly be just Matt Nagy? There's a lot more broken than just the offensive coordinator. The entire scheme's bad. The head coach is in charge of that scheme. The head coach, it's his playbook. Like, there's a lot more going on here than just Nagy. So I'm in favor of doing this. Don't get me wrong. But what do we have to do as far as the offense and an overhaul, and who do we get rid of, and what do we do to get this scheme to change, or is it even possible?
Chiefs Kingdom, please allow us to take this time to tell you about Brunt Workwear, because Brunt is offering up some insane apparel and some of the sickest boots we've ever seen. They've totally changed the game for workers across America and right here at the heart of it all in Kansas City. We were sent these boots to try out, and we were very skeptical. We don't need steel-toed boots to talk about Chiefs football. Well, that is unless Isaiah Pacheco is clomping around, and in that case, we're going to need a backup pair too. These boots are the Marin boots, and right out of the box, we were blown away. The presentation was impeccable. These boots are super nice. Such amazing quality and build to these. Brunt guarantees there's no long, painful break-in period like other brands for these boots, and I can say with 100% confidence, I did wear these around all day long with absolutely zero problems. Brunt builds tough, reliable gear that doesn't sacrifice comfort, quality, or style. Whether you're going to need waterproof, safety toe, or soft toe styles, they've got plenty of options for any job site. And look, it's not just boots. They've got heavy-duty pants, jackets, hats, and even just tees to wear around, and much, much more to keep you protected and productive. Plus, the best part about all of this is that Brunt stands behind their products. You wear them, and if they're not right for you, send them right back to them. There's not going to be any questions asked. So right now, for a limited time, get $10 off at Brunt with code ACU at checkout. Head to bruntworker.com/ACU, use code ACU, and gear up for all your working needs. After you order, tell them you heard about it here at All Chiefed Up. We're going to be sending a pair of these out to the Chiefs this week as well, because it's time for them to go to work too and get that win. Right. Look, I think just out of the fun of it, we should just put Fire Nagy on this thumbnail. So if you click this thumbnail and it said Fire Nagy, have fun with it.
Let's do it, baby.
But here's the thing. Should he be fired? Absolutely. I think he should, but I think a lot of people should be fired.
Yes.
I think if you truly in your heart think that this season would have been all that different if there just would have been insert whoever instead of Matt Nagy, I think you would have been sadly disappointed, because I think it went a little further than just the guy that helped craft the offensive game plan each week. I think it goes to Joe Blameyer. I think it goes to Girardi. I think it goes to Connor Embry. It goes to Todd Pinkston. It goes to Andy Reid. He is the one in charge of all this. It goes to Andy Heck. There were several times this year that even the defense didn't look too solid in certain games because Spags wants to play certain people or whatever it may be. So everybody's got a piece of the pie here. Yes, Nagy should be fired, but I think a lot of Chiefs Kingdom is just under this false impression that if you just had Breece Hall and Matt Nagy gone, we're undefeated. And I just don't know if that's a good, solid talking point in the offseason that's going to draw all those clicks. Like, all your favorite influencers are going to say all that constantly. Right. And you're going to buy into it. Right. Everybody's going to buy into it. You're all going to believe it. But at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, is Brett Veach going to take a running back? Presumably, if we sit at the number 10 or 11 pick, are you going to take a running back at pick number 10 or 11 in the first round? No. Are you going to go pay Breece Hall in the offseason $40-some million, 40 plus, for a 3 to 4 year contract? There is no way we can afford that. So I don't know why this has become a big talking point. And honestly, with this scheme, with running out of the shotgun every play on predictable play calls, with a primarily zone blocking scheme where Andy Heck and everybody hasn't really developed a lot of great run blockers that can actually pull the scheme off, I don't think none of this really matters.
Right. Mitchell Schwartz actually tweeted out the first run play of the game yesterday. And he, of course, everybody knows him, ex-Chief tackle. He says, first play of the game, and we have a massive issue with the Chiefs running game. To be very clear, I put this on coaching, not Pacheco. The angles are all wrong, and it takes away what could have been a massive run to start the game. Stuff like this just frustrates me endlessly. And it shows the play. It breaks it down in slow motion. And like you said, a zone blocking scheme, everyone on the offensive line is moving to the right? Pacheco misses the hole. The one little sliver of light that he had there, he had over pursued. So he had to try to stop, cut back, and then get there, which ultimately made it entirely too late to be an effective running play. But, I mean, it's just so sloppy. Like, the entire play is sloppy. Every offensive lineman is somewhat behind. They're not in any sort of unison whatsoever. The only player that really did his job really well was probably Mike Caliendo on the play, which is wild because we know that he's normally the one that's struggling. But it's just little things like that, man. It can't just be the play calling. There has to be execution as well. And there can't be execution if every level of the coaching staff is underperforming and not doing their jobs. And I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's not just Matt Nagy. Completely on board with firing Matt Nagy. I think that the offense needs a complete overhaul. So I think you start from there. Obviously, Andy Reid's not going anywhere. So where do you go next? You go straight to Matt Nagy. But I'm with you, dude. I think the rest of these guys need to be held accountable too. And I don't think anyone's going to bat an eyelash if you turn around and fired every damn one of them. I don't know anybody personally, Mike, or I don't know anybody that I've even seen in the chat on any of our live streams or even on X that would lose any sleep over Matt Nagy, Joe Blameyer, Connor Embry, all of them just taking a hike. Andy Heck. I mean, dude, people's been calling for these guys for years now. So, I mean, I don't understand. I think that Andy Reid's got to take a long, hard look in the mirror, have a little bit of humility here, a little bit of self-awareness, and realize, hey, I do have to change something with this offensive scheme. This offense is the reason we lost, 9 games by week 15. Like, this offense is the reason why my quarterback just went out hurt for a solid year with a torn ACL. This offense is the reason why that we suck this year, ultimately. I think, like you said, the defense, they had their problems, but this offense was literally the main catalyst of why the Chiefs were unsuccessful this season, and something's got to get done.
Yeah, so the defense, really quickly, the defense had mainly 2 big problems, and it led to their most glaring problem throughout the season. Shamari Connor was number 1, and covering the slot receiver. That's all lumped together.
And both could have been. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
That's just one thing.
It's hard to say.
Number 2 would be the pass rush, the inability to pressure the passer consistently and to create turnovers, sacks, things like that.
Agreed.
And again, now that directly hurts Shamari Connor because now he's got to cover longer.
Correct.
So it all feeds in back and forth to each other. All this could have been solved with some personnel decisions. We've talked about this over and over again. Noah Williams should have been playing more often, more early. By 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks into the season, if you see that Shamari Connor is starting to just suck in the slot, and you could have started him playing there, fine. But if you see that it's a problem, then McDuffie could have come down, played the slot more often. You would have had Noah Williams, Jalen Watson on the corners. You would have been fine. They would have been completely fine. We'd have been a better defense. Now, that would have fixed the pass rush, but it would have been a little bit better there for at least the back end. Fixing the pass rush was blown up since day one when the Chiefs just didn't want to do anything. When Felix had to go to IR, not saying he would have done anything great,
right?
But still, they had to put him on IR. They were just thin. Charles Omenihu didn't wake up till 6 weeks into the season. He's literally right now, I think, cruising at like 4 sacks, maybe 5 tops.
That was 2 in this last game, dude.
Right. George Karlaftis couldn't get, to the quarterback this year. He's created a lot of pressure, a lot of win rate.
They did not give Ashton Gelati enough snaps early.
Right. He didn't get it. They hurt Omar Norman-Lott by trying to turn him into something he wasn't. They made the horrible decision to get rid of, Mike Pennell and bring in Derek Nottie, and then they got Mike Pennell back, and it's just been all over the map this year. I think they would have probably been better off just doing a few smaller decisions in the beginning, such as keep Pennell, don't blow your stuff on Derek Nottie, let Noah Williams play a little bit. Again, you used your 4th round pick that you got for Joe Tooney to go up and get Noah Williams, so he was valuable to you.
Right.
Was he just a valuable piece down the road for when they didn't want to sign, say, a certain Trent McDuffie? That is also a possibility, but you should have let him play.
Right.
So the defenses could have kind of been fixed with a little bit of personnel decisions. The offense, in my opinion, was the big problem. I'm glad that I seen what Mitchell Schwartz seen. If you remember yesterday's podcast, I spoke about that exact same thing. There were times in that zone blocking scheme where they were running to the weak side, not the strong side. So they were running at the defensive end, not at, not with the tight end. Right. So I don't know which specific play he's talking about, but the one I've seen, it may have been the first play of the game, honestly. It was when Kelce was trying to block, and Kelce's guy eventually come down the line and made the tackle because Pacheco was dancing because he tried to go too far out, and then by the time he cut back in, he couldn't get to the hole Caliendo created.
I don't think that was the same play. That just shows you how many problems they have in the running game.
Okay, so yeah, that's what it is. They didn't teach Pacheco the proper angle. And again, I think these are small things that maybe an Eric Bieniemy brought, and things that Todd Pinkston, not being a running back, cannot really figure out and to relay this. This could be the reason that maybe Brashard Smith couldn't figure it out. Maybe they just don't have people developing these guys good enough.
Isn't it wild that at the highest level of football, the NFL, that you have a wide receiver by trade as your running back coach? Does that not just seem stupid to begin with?
Yeah, I mean, it is. They do this all the time.
I know they do it a lot. I get it. But at the same time, it just seems like ignorant.
It seems counterproductive. It seems dumb. I mean, look at Connor Embry. I don't want to dog on him either, but the kid, he went to college. He coached, I think, some high school. He coached a little bit in college. He went straight to the NFL after like a season. Yeah. What? I don't get it. Like, you could have come on and been an assistant at something before you get the entire receiving room.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But that's where we got to go. So the whole thing wraps back around to this. Does Breece Hall change anything? Yes, Breece Hall might be smart enough to understand the angles better, but now you guys got to look at this. Did Breece Hall run a zone scheme when he was back at Iowa State? Is he familiar with it? Did the Jets run a zone scheme? I don't know. I've not looked into any of this. I've not really taken it seriously. But you just can't say any old back comes in here and can just slide in. He's an instant upgrade. Is he more talented than Pacheco? Absolutely. But we have a problem. Just the fact that picking up Dameon Pierce, and you couldn't get this guy into the game in 2 weeks. He couldn't pick up the playbook. This stale dud of a playbook, they couldn't get him in and get him a few snaps. And this has happened over and over again. It happened with D-Hop last year trying to integrate. It happens constantly. What is it so hard about this offense that the rookies can't play, the veterans can't play, no matter who it is? We can't get them onto the field.
Right.
But yet defenses on the other side, they know it before we even run the play. So how is that?
No clue, dude. I think it's a lot going on there, and it's not just Isaiah Pacheco. I mean, even Mitchell Schwartz said he don't even think it's his fault. He thinks it's more coaching.
It's not.
Sloppy blocking, a lot of different things. So, I mean, it's that. And yeah, people are going to scream for Breece Hall. People are going to scream for a lot of different pieces to this offense. And that's okay. Everybody's allowed to have their opinion, and I think that everybody's kind of on the same page with, hey, something has to happen with this offense. But, Mike, let's talk about something that people are not talking about. I saw a tweet from Price Carter, our boy over at Arrowhead Addict. He said that even the most optimistic Mahomes timelines will have him limited in camp or on PUP, which makes it hard for him to gain chemistry with any new weapons they get, which is something that's going to happen. And it also makes it hard for this team to install or change a scheme, which is also something the team needs. That is the number one thing they need, is a new offensive scheme. So we've looked at when can Mahomes get back and when can this happen, when can that happen. I mean, there's going to be a bit of a challenge there. If you're chopping heads at the coaching level on the offense, and you're changing up the whole scheme, and we're getting rid of this, we're going to go away from this, and we're implementing something different, and we got these new ideas, and we got to freshen this thing up, it's going to become slightly difficult if your starting QB isn't able to participate that much. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
Yeah.
this could be a very, very tricky offseason from so many facets. Like, all the way from, what do you do with the draft? Do you keep that higher pick that we don't normally get and see if you can hit, or do you trade back and get some of the draft capital you lost making bad moves last season? Could this be the first offseason where Brett Veach makes meaningful signings during free agency? And I'm not just talking about random overpay Juwan Taylor, or go get Christian Fulton, who played 20 snaps the entire season. Like, there has to be a lot of different things fall into place, and then there's still these question marks, man. So I don't know if people, they get very aroused, Mike. They're aroused right now, talking about firing everybody and getting a new offensive scheme and getting Breece Hall and doing this and doing that. But I don't know if they're taking a step back to realize how many different pieces have to fall into place for that to be successful.
Dude, I used the analogy in my Chiefs versus Chargers prediction. I'll use it again. The Chiefs franchise is a 10,000 piece puzzle. Everything has to come together perfectly on every end. And people are just getting really fascinated with the fire this, fire that, do this, do that, sign him,
Rightfully
don't sign him.
so. It's frustrating as hell.
That's the easy thing to
Right.
do, because that's what you can see and you can give input on. But here's the thing. I don't think nobody's stopping to look. If Price is correct and this thing does take Mahomes closer to the 10, 11 1-year mark, if it gets to the 1-year mark, 2026 is done. But I don't see it getting there. I feel like with the way Mahomes heals, with all of his doctors, with the new ways they're doing these surgeries, I think he could be throwing with even draft picks by the June, July mark. Christmas is right around the corner, and you've been in the giving spirit. So now it's time to give a little back to yourself. We've teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook to bring you an offer so that you can treat yourself this Christmas season by downloading the app today. DraftKings Sportsbook has all your favorite ways to bet touchdowns this NFL season, and now you can experience the game as a fan even further with dynamic odds that move with the game and more open live betting markets more often. So don't wait. Download the DraftKings app today. Get in on the action and sign up using our promo code ACU. With DraftKings, the crown is yours. I think he could get in camp. Now, he may start camp on the PUP list, but I think by the end of camp, he's ready to go, and I think he's going by week 1. Let's just say he can't get in by week 1, and October's a return date, so he misses 4 games. So then you got to ask yourself this. If he can't do it, and you can't overhaul a system because you don't got a QB that's out there participating, his mind's not broken. He can still do that. He can still be on the field. They just don't want him to cut and things like that. That's the thing. But like developing chemistry, say you went out and signed Alec Pierce in the offseason, or you need a big X receiver. Let's just say you need that. You got to get all these guys in. You're wanting to bring in a new OC. You're wanting to do a new running back, and do this and do that. Yes, it takes time to develop this stuff. I think maybe what you may see, and this may not be a popular opinion, but because of the Mahomes injury, if they really feel like Mahomes is going to be out for the longer side of it, and again, if it's just the ACL, it might be better off to be in that 7 to 8 month mark. But if it's a lot of replacements, and let's say it goes to the 10 to 12 month mark, that may actually hinder what everybody wants to do.
Exactly.
You may not go out and fire the offensive coordinator anymore. You might be like, look, we can't change everything up like this. We're not doing that. We can't do it. I don't think they're ever going to do it anyway. Will they fire Nagy? I don't know. I'm still 50-50. It's up to Andy, and he's the most stubborn dude I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
So
a lot of the
I don't know
changes depend on what Andy will do, right?
Yes, and I don't know if Andy's willing to do it. If he does, I don't think he goes and gets somebody that's going to drastically try to override everything he's ever done. It's his philosophy. This is what Andy does. He understands it inside and out. He's not switching up this late in his career. So I think no matter what they do, it's going to be minor tweaks to what we see, not major overhauls. That's the way I see it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be right about that. I know it's not going to be very popular, but I feel like that's what it is. You're going to see minor tweaks, not major overhauls. And if you go get somebody that's not Nagy, say you bring back Bieniemy, I still don't think you do major reconstruction to the entire playbook and the concepts. I think you just have to be smarter in how you call the plays, coach your playmakers up better, make it easier on the running backs during run plays, maybe stick to a run game more often, drop some RPOs. Just small things like that could go a long way, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I think that's great. That's probably the route they're going to have to take with so much on their plate. But we want to see major changes after such an unsuccessful season, especially when you think about the Chiefs' success in the past decade. You think about the success of Patrick Mahomes. You think about Mahomes being in his prime. You think about him being only 30 years old, and things should be going great right now, right? So it's very frustrating from a fan's perspective. It's like, we need to do something drastic because this is bullshit. And I think that's the way everybody thinks. But Mike, Travis Kelce has a decision to make. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But real quick, I just want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast or watching on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, share this out with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, do us a favor, give us a 5-star review, leave some kind words. If there's a review section you can type in, let everybody know where to find some good Chiefs content. You guys are amazing, and we appreciate you. But Mike, Travis Kelce has a decision to make. Is he going to come back, or have we seen the last snap with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, which is one of the most notorious combos, the duos in NFL history?
Yeah, it's tough to say. Personally, I think Kelce played better this year than he did last year.
Yeah, for sure.
But it almost feels like he went into the offseason with the intention of coming in and giving it his all because he knew it would be his final season.
Yeah.
Now, in no world did I think Travis Kelce thought he was going to come back and get bounced from the playoffs 2 weeks before Christmas. I just don't think he ever planned for that. And I think truth hurts.
I don't
and
think
reality will hit you
anyone
sometimes.
planned for that, dude.
Right. But reality will hit you sometimes. And you make a plan and God laughs. And that's just the way it is. And do I think they played their last snap together? I think there's a big possibility that you've seen it. You were telling me before we went on that you heard that he didn't even give Derwin James his jersey. He said he'll send him one out.
Yeah.
Why does he want to keep that jersey, that specific jersey, so bad?
Right. Let me talk about that for a second.
That's the end of an era there.
You have Derwin James coming up at the end of the game saying, let me get that jersey, all respect, blah, blah, blah. You're the best to ever do it, all this stuff, right? And, of course, everybody out there's like, oh, respect Derwin James. F Derwin James. He's a dirty-ass player. He always has been. I don't have any respect for Derwin James. I actually think he's overrated. But either way, that's one of two things that you're taking from this. Either Kelce thinks the way I do, and he didn't want to give it to the guy because he's like, oh, I'll send you one out. Or is it significant to him? Does it mean something? Because he took his last pass from Patrick Mahomes in that jersey. And that's a very real possibility, dude. So there's that, Mike. And then I know that you said something about Adam Schefter had a little talk about it too.
Yeah, he was on Pat McAfee's show yesterday, and they asked him what they thought. And he comes to the same conclusion we do. Like Patrick Mahomes being injured next year, if you did want to come back, but you don't know how long Patrick's going to miss, maybe next season's a wash too, in your opinion. Do you want to come back and do it again for that? Like, maybe not. Travis Kelce's got a lot going on. He's entering a new part of his life. He's entering his late 30s. He's still got a ton of football ahead. And to be honest, he's went through relatively unscathed. Now, he also had a major knee surgery in his very first season, and it did not affect the rest of his career to this point. So he's actually had one of the best careers ever, Hall of Fame career. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt. Maybe the greatest tight end to ever play. So the thing is he's got a lot going forward, and he's relatively healthy right now. If you come back and take some head injuries, you never know. You just never know. Nobody thought Pat was going to hurt himself in the last play of the game or whatever it was. So it's just one of those things where he's got a lot going for him, man. He's got a successful podcast. He tries to get into acting. He's now married to Taylor Swift. They're getting married. Maybe they want to. Yeah, maybe they want to start a family. Like maybe he just wants to move on. I think that Travis Kelce has given the Chiefs fans above and beyond anything we could have ever hoped for in his career. And no matter what he decides, I'm happy with it. But I think personally, the Chiefs need to figure out with him what they want to do very early. Because and I think he will. I think he'll reach a decision very early. But if it were me, I think I would just focus on the podcast. I bet he makes more money with the podcast than he does on half the NFL contracts he'd be given next year. He's going to be an actor. He's married to a billionaire, or he will be. Like, just go on to the next phase of life. Chalk it up as a Hall of Fame career. You had a dynasty. Move on. Because I don't want Kelce to come back and it turn into watching Michael Jordan play with the Wizards.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't want to see that.
Which wasn't bad. Michael Jordan, Wizards era was very underrated. He was a great basketball player at that time.
But still, it's kind of like this year. Kelce come back. He wasn't the greatest, but he was serviceable. He was right at the top. He still had shades. But you can tell there's something there.
There had been some Kobe Bryants come in the league, you know? That
right. You can tell there's something there. So I think he should just move along.
I'm with you. I don't think it would be bad if that were the case. And I'm completely happy with what Travis Kelce has gave the Chiefs. Chiefs fans, the city, above and beyond. He's the best to ever do it. I don't care what anybody says about Gronkowski or Tony G. Travis Kelce's the GOAT tight end. Deal with it. And here's the thing, though. I kind of feel like he will not retire. And I know a lot of people might take that the wrong way and be like, oh, man, we really need him to move on so we can move on. And he's just holding us back. And, and there's a case to that. But at the same time, that's also a coaching decision. If Kelce decides to play for another season, and I'll tell you why I think he might here in just a second. But if he decides to, that doesn't mean that Andy Reid has to use him every damn snap of the game.
Right.
That doesn't mean that we don't go out and replace them. That doesn't mean that we just pass up people like Sam Laporta in the draft that were there for the taking. It doesn't mean that. We still have to do our part as GMs and coaches and everything else to prepare this team for life after Travis Kelce, which they have failed miserably to do, to the point to where now Kelce, father time caught up. He's not what he used to be. He's a little bit slower and he can't play as much. And it's been a hindrance to the team. So you all still got to do your job. But I don't know if Kelce retires this season, Mike, and here's why. Patrick Mahomes just went out in the worst season they've ever had together with an ACL tear. That's something that you just mentioned. Travis Kelce's been through himself. Those two, best friends. Those two have a relationship on and off the football field. That's his dog there. I think that Travis Kelce might be like, you know what? I would love to retire right now. It would be easy for me to retire. But I want to be there for Patrick. And we'll come back together. And we'll give this thing one more shot. But I'm going to be there every step of the way, getting Patrick back on this football field. And we are not done. That's not how we're going out. And I think that could be how this ends up. Now, like I said, it's up to the coaching staff. It's up to the GM. It's up to whoever to make sure that we have a plan in place and to make sure that Travis Kelce can't be a detriment to the team, because we don't have to have him out there. But I really think that I could see Travis Kelce making that decision.
It's possible. I think maybe another thing you didn't mention either.
That would be completely like a stand-up, like honorable, badass decision, by the way.
Right. Well, another thing that you mentioned is, maybe if Mahomes does miss some time with this, maybe Kelce sees it as, hey, I can come back and help. I can help mentor. I can be the leader through camp. I can teach these guys the system. I can teach them how to do it in the locker room if Patrick can't. I can be maybe valuable to the offense until Patrick gets back. So maybe he does decide to come back. I'm just saying that either way, I'm fine with it. But here's one thing that goes, no matter what he decides, he's not under contract. So we have to try to figure that out. And then it's like, well, how much money is he willing to take, and can we be willing to pay? So you've got a ton. And I think that tight end over the next 3 weeks, I think Noah Gray showed this season that I like Noah Gray, but I think he's always just like a tight end 2 kind of guy. Like, I don't know if he could be that tight end 1. And I was almost on board that I thought he could get there with this offense and with Mahomes. But I don't know.
Can I throw this out there? I think he could have, but the window came and went.
Yeah, I think the window did come and gone.
I think maybe about 2 years ago, if he would have started getting the bulk of the snaps and got in there and got a rhythm, I think that he could have been good.
Right. So we need to look, can Jared Wiley do it? Can Jake Brittingstall do this? And look, I don't know. Brittingstall blew up camp last year, but we haven't seen this guy in the NFL football
I like
field.
both of those guys, but I'm going to say right now, I think we have to go higher caliber.
Yeah, and he was a UDFA. I mean, you may get like a flash in the pan season out of him, kind of like we did Pacheco in like year one, and then everybody's going to turn on him in 3 years. Like, there's a reason the kid went undrafted. It's just the way it always usually pans out. But the thing about it is you do have to upgrade that position. This is a tight end centric offense because of the Travis Kelce Mahomes combo, and you've seen how it's all declined because Travis Kelce's not been as effective, and so. I think maybe like a Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon is somewhere you got to look. That kid that coming out of Texas Tech is another one. There's a few, but still, we're going to get to all that just in the meantime. But maybe you look at Kyle Pitts in the offseason, but you've got to figure out how you're going to pay this. It's just, there's a lot of moving parts here. And I'm telling you, if Kelce decides he don't want to come back because it is a lot of moving parts and maybe he sees it as like we're getting ready to hit like a tiny rebuild and he don't want to waste his time, there's always that. Or he could take the noble way and try to be like the team leader, help Patrick. We're not going out like that kind of thing. So it is what it is, man. I don't really know. You guys let us know in the comments what you all think. I'm curious.
Yeah, I want to know what everybody thinks too, because, everybody's got opinions right now. Everybody's got strong opinions, and a lot of people let that cause like arguments and stuff in comment sections or whatever. But I mean, honestly, you have to remember everybody is on the same team here. We're all Chiefs fans. Everybody just wants to see the Chiefs be better and be back to what they were, and it could take some time. It could take a little more time than a lot of people want to give it. But the fact of the matter is, Mike, we spent most of our lives watching bad football. We had some moments there. We had our Priest Holmes, and we had our, Derek Thomas, and we had all these good moments, but we never had that success that we've tasted in the last 7 years. And boy, did we taste it. We had a freaking buffet, because what they've been able to bring us in the last 7 years is it was unfathomable 10 years ago. I would have never thought in not only our father's lifetime, but our lifetime that we would see anything like that. And I mean, so you got to be grateful. You got to be a little bit patient. You got to give a little grace to the coaches and stuff like that. But I do think Andy has a big decision to make. And I mean, all this entire rest of the season here, we're going to stick with the team. We're going to be doing content exactly how we would be. We're going to cheer for them to win every game, even though a lot of you guys want them to tank and get a better draft position. It is what it is. We're Chiefs fans. We bleed red and gold. But all offseason, everybody's going to be talking about, what was the big screw up with this season? Whose fault was it? They're going to be talking about what should the Chiefs do? Now, what do we do going forward? Is Travis Kelce going to be there or not? Who should play? Who shouldn't play? Who should we get? Who should we not? Who should we cut? There's a lot of that, and we'll be covering all of it extensively. And of course, all the draft content and everything, but we will get there in due time. For now, Mike, I want to end this one today on a positive note from a shit show of a game that we all watched on Sunday. And I'm gonna want to shout out a rookie, Ashton Gelati. Ashton Gelati, I think I mentioned it briefly earlier, but I think he should have had more snaps early in the season. This was a kid that could bring a little bit of pep to our defensive line. He's a good pass rusher. He's got a lot more speed than George Karlaftis. He might be a little undersized, but he knows how to get stuff done. We watched it in Louisville. This kid needed to develop, and the way that he's going to develop is by getting more snaps. You can just tell by the way he plays, he needs the reps. I wish they would have got him in earlier, but they didn't. But Mike, I think what we saw yesterday was we have a really promising guy there in Ashton Gelati to go along with George Karlaftis and Chris Jones, and we have Omar Norman-Lott coming back next season. So as bad as the defensive line has been all season long, and it has, no pressure ever, just a detriment, I do think we have a good little base there. If we could go out and add one or two really meaningful pieces there, I think that we could see a complete flip from what we had last season or this season. And I think that's a positive note to take away from what, otherwise was just a complete and utter shit show that we watched Sunday.
Right. I think the Chiefs have to draft defensive line. And look, I don't know if it's another defensive tackle or defensive end. I think you take whichever one that you think that can help you. I don't know how long Mike Pennell is going to continue to play, and I don't want Derek Nottie back on this squad.
Hell no.
So I think you do need somebody to come in because Omar Norman-Lott's now coming off of a knee injury. Okay, he's a big guy. That's going to be a little bit harder on him, I think, than Mahomes,
right,
honestly. So, look, you've got to do something to help Chris Jones. I don't think Chris Jones is going anywhere. I don't think Omenihu or Mike Danis should be on this team next year. I'm sorry. I like you both as people, but I think your time here is done.
Yes.
I think the Chiefs need to spend some money in free agency on that defensive line.
Absolutely.
That's where it needs to go. We need somebody to help George and to help Chris Jones and Omar Norman Lott next year. I think the Chiefs kind of made a mistake early on by getting rid of some of the young talent that come into camp this past season. There was a few guys there I felt that were pretty good against the run and were actually not bad versus the pass in the pass rushing situations either.
Right, yes.
Preferably the kid out of Penn State.
Azard. Yes.
Yeah, Keziah Azard that you really liked. Now, I thought that was a weird thing, but he was even available. We never brought him back to the practice squad. So for some reason, I think our talent evaluators need to get better across the board as well, because we see them take Esapole and completely get rid of him and then have to get lucky enough to be able to bring him back. And now we see how good he's been, and he could be a damn good swing tackle in this league, if not a starter.
Right.
So they've got to get better at evaluating talent. They need to start using the offseason and preseason games like they should be used. Don't go in just already knowing who you are on the team. Let the guys like Khalif Hallisey's that come out and balled out make the team.
Dude, yes.
Because
Yes.
it worked in your favor when you do it properly. It worked with Christian Roland Wallace because you've done it properly with him. But everybody else, you had this idea of what you wanted and how you wanted it, and you didn't know how you were going to make, roster space, but you should have made the roster space. You should have figured it out.
Drafting players or signing players and trying to change them.
Yes. Let them be them. Draft them based on what they do, what their strengths are, and keep them as their strengths. So, yes, the Chiefs have got a lot of work to do this offseason, Steve. And, a lot of people have asked us about Trent McDuffie. If you guys want to hear what we think about Trent McDuffie, click this video we're going to have coming up next. We're going to have him. You can see what we think about that there. That's our live stream from yesterday. So, just go watch that if you want to hear us talk about Trent McDuffie, man. But I think in wrapping it up today, Steve, we've just got a long offseason ahead of us. We need to take these 3 weeks to evaluate everything, and then heads got to start rolling, or we've got to start figuring something out here at this offense or this offseason. But on the positive, even the coaching staff and everybody else gets to dive into the draft picks a little bit more this year. So maybe they will hit on, we'll have a really, really good draft class this time.
Well, you mentioned talent scouts, and you mentioned guys that need to be developing and things like that. And I think Andy Reid, if one thing he said in yesterday's presser that really hit home with everybody, it's just that everybody holds a piece of the pie. Like, he might hold the biggest one, but there is a lot of blame to go around for how bad the season's been. And I think it goes from top to bottom. And that's just how it's going to be. You guys get in the comments. Let us know what you think the problem has been. Let us know what you think the team needs to do going forward. Also, let us know if you think Travis Kelce is going to come back and try to, help Mahomes get back and end it a better way than what we watched take place on Sunday. I appreciate you guys being here. Do us a favor. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure to give us a 5-star review, and we'll catch you next time. Go Chiefs.